All right, who's hungry? Join me today in the kitchen. We're talking all about the holiday season, and I'm going to make with you my very favorite Christmas casserole. It's just as delicious as it is easy, and best of all, you can prep it almost entirely the night before, pop it in your fridge, and then all you have to do in the morning is put it in the oven. It's less time in the kitchen for you in those moments where you really just want to be spending your time with your loved ones. I've got my holiday apron on. Let's get going. Alright, be honest folks, how many of you get so busy and swamped over the holidays that you end up just falling for the old buy a box of quiche at the store or some cinnamon buns and let's call it a day for Christmas morning breakfast? I know I have certainly done that in the past and there's nothing wrong with it, but I do find it's those years where I put some extra effort in that my family really enjoys and appreciates what we have to eat. So this recipe is one I've used for Christmas morning, but also for different family brunches throughout the whole rest of the year. You really can make it all year long. I've done a lot of experimenting and tweaking over the years to get it just right, so you all are gonna reap the benefits of that right now. In the description box below are all the ingredients you're going to need for this recipe, so let's get cooking. For prepping our ingredients, we're going to start with the bread. Normally at our house, we eat whole wheat or multigrain bread, but this is a recipe where we really do need to go with a white bread. It's going to taste the best, and you know, maybe the holidays isn't the time that we have to think about the absolute healthiest choice. It's okay for this casserole to go with white bread, you guys. So I need 16 slices of white bread, and that just so happens that 16 slices is about what you're going to get in a loaf of bread if you minus the crusts on the end. So I'm going to take those 16 slices and cut off all the crusts. But please do not throw out your crusts or put them in the compost. Keep them for other recipes. I'm all about living on less here at this channel and not being wasteful, so I like to take the crusts of my bread, pop them in a bag, and put them in the freezer. And this year, I will use all of these crusts for stuffing for our Christmas meal. Once you've got your bread all cut up, you're going to arrange them in a greased 9x13 pan. I have a stone here from Pampered Chef that I love to use for this recipe, so if you've got a stone, feel free to use one. So you're going to layer 8 slices of the bread, just squish them in there. If they don't quite fit in your pan, squish them together. On top of that, you're going to put 16 slices of deli ham. I'm using Black Forest here because I think it has a really good taste to it, but just use whatever kind you like best. On top of that, we are going to layer 3 cups of grated sharp or old cheddar cheese. And then put your remaining 8 slices of white bread on top of that. You're sort of creating a ham and cheese sandwich here. Next, we're going to make our egg filling. So you're going to start with 6 large eggs and give them a good whisk. To that, add 3 cups of 2% milk. Whisk it all together, and now let's add some more ingredients. Half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, half of a sweet pepper chopped up. Now in this case, I'm using red pepper, but just use whatever sweet pepper you like the best. I've used green before too. As well as half of an onion finely chopped. Again, what type of onion do you like best? I'm using red today, but a yellow onion would work just fine. You're going to whisk all of those ingredients together, but before we put them in the pan, we need my secret ingredients, which I think give this dish kind of that edge in terms of flavor. And that is a couple dashes of hot sauce and a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, it just took me 10 takes to say Worcestershire without screwing it up. Anyone else struggle with pronouncing this word? Now what you're going to do is you're going to pour all of this over top of your ham and cheese bread sandwiches. Cover that 9x13 pan and put it in your fridge for a minimum of 1 hour. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, overnight is just fine. So if you're planning this for breakfast, do it up the night before, pop it in your fridge. In the morning, you're going to melt up half a cup of butter and add that to however many crushed cornflakes you want for your topping. In my family, we love the cornflake topping, so we're gonna use a couple cups here. I do know some people like this casserole without the crunchy topping, but I think the topping makes it. So I've got 2 or 3 cups of crushed cornflakes here, as well as half a cup of melted butter mixed together and then sprinkling it liberally on top. Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and then you're going to bake this uncovered for at least 1 hour. If you're using a baking stone like I am, plan on more like 1 hour and 15 minutes, because you know if you're cooking with a stone, it's going to take longer for it to heat up. And if it's Christmas morning and you're waiting for this to cook before you open presents, you definitely don't want to be waiting on the casserole. So plan lots of time for baking. This is one of those dishes that just smells so delicious while it is cooking. And when you bring it out of the oven, that's gonna bring people to your kitchen. Make sure you let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes to cool down before you cut into it and serve. This is also a really great dish to serve as leftovers. So if you cook up this large amount and you've got lots of slices left, have no fear, put it in your fridge and heat it up for breakfast the next day. It tastes just as good. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen today. It really was fun to be able to cook with you. I did want to say, whether this is your first time here or you've watched more of my videos, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please click that red button below. I put out several videos a week all about living on less, and I really do strive to make good content for my subscribers. And if you think after watching this video that this is a recipe that looks good to you, don't forget to click the like button as well. And right here to the side are more cooking with Jenn videos if you'd like to watch some more and keep this viewing going. Can't wait to see you in the next one, guys. For the least, this is Jenn.